Actually, Jenny, I think you did a wonderful job. I'm so glad to be here, everybody. This is our third year participating in the festival. We've had a great time. I just look at it as a time to get away personally and a time for our theater company to come down here and do something that we enjoy doing, performing. We have a piece, and it's called W.C. Tennessee, the Blues and Me. And I think that's a pretty good introduction for it, because once you start looking at it, you'll see what all that means. Thank you very much, Jen. You're doing a great job. Penny, my great friend who I met, we've known a lot of people and didn't know that we knew them and didn't know each other. So anyway, thank you, everybody. Hope you enjoy the show.
But you rescued me from feeling the bottom, brought me back from being too far gone. It's new Tennessee whiskey, hey, you're as sweet. Tennessee whiskey, yeah, you're sweet as strawberry wine. You're as warm as a glass of brandy, and honey, I'm stoned on your love. Tennessee whiskey, sweet, yeah. Tennessee whiskey, oh yeah. Tennessee whiskey, yeah. Tennessee whiskey.
Every bluesman worth his salt knows a little something about Tennessee whiskey. Some, like myself, know a lot. Right now, I want to tell you a few other things about some of the things that the best bluesmen have in common. All aboard! Clarksdale, Memphis, St. Louis. Some things the best bluesmen have in common, that's three right there. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. So let us begin at the beginning by paying respect to W.C. Handy. Oh, by the way, my name is Robert Johnson.
Robert Johnson. Robert Johnson.
Robert Johnson.
You may have heard of me.
Papa, look, I made $5 with Jim and his band in Russellville.
Tainted wages paid by the devil. I'll never forgive you for it, William.
And this ain't Clarksdale.
And all points in between.
And that ain't me, but it sure sounds like the blues.
I'll never forgive you for it.
William Christopher Handy was born in Florence, Alabama, November 16, 1873. Born the son of a minister, this young man, well, he got the blues early when he decided to play the devil's music against the wishes of.
His papa, the minister.
And his daddy, a minister.
Well, W.C. went his way and continued to play. And his dad, he did what preachers do, especially for the children.
Pray.
Now, one thing I learned in life is seldom, if ever, say never. Even if you're a minister. Wait a minute, let me change that. Especially if you're a minister. It's a sad thing for a father and a child to be divided.
Abraham and Ishmael,
David and Absalom.
the prodigal son and his father.
Then who knows, maybe even you and your child. But the good Lord can work it out. Now, after traveling about for some time, W.C. came to Florence to play, and to his surprise, guess who came to his presentation?
Son, I forgive you for becoming a musician.
Some things are just worth the wait.
All aboard, Clarksdale, Mississippi.
Clarksdale. Of all places, it wasn't that Clarksdale was that bad, but W.C. had been hired to actually work with a white band in Michigan and make more money. But guess what? He came to Clarksdale. Huh.
Because, like I've been telling y'all, the best bluesmen come through Clarksdale, Memphis, and St. Louis. Plus, he was getting a chance to get back to the South, where he was from, and other reasons he probably couldn't even tell you, even if you asked him.
So, in 1903, Handy landed in Clarksdale and put together the Knights of Elias Band. They played in and all around the city.
For whites as well as colors.
Pretty soon, Professor Handy, the educated and gifted son of a former slave, and Alabama preacher, became very well known in these parts. But he was more interested in being well learned in his music than for being well known for his music. He admitted that one of the best music lessons he was ever taught came from a poor man, barely with shoes on his feet, in a train station at Tutwiler.
Near Clarksdale.
Now, about to doze off, Henry woke up when he heard this poor man sitting next to him playing a sound that he had never heard before, using a pocket knife down the neck of a guitar, weaving a spell over the professor that would eventually transform and transmit his music all across the world.
Where the Southern crosses the dawn.
It was the blues. And like the time that Handy and his team went to Cleveland, Mississippi.
About 35 miles outside Clarksdale.
Handy had been playing for a white dance, and the people had begun to be
Tired.
And sleepy, and nobody was dancing on the floor.
Except
So
for
a few couples.
Now, the band took a break. Woo! And these three poor-looking fellas came up on the bandstand with a mandolin, a bass, and a guitar.
And when they started to play, oh, the people commenced to get wild, everybody bonked and
got interested.
started to dance.
Oh my goodness, they threw more money in that tip jar than Handy had made for the entire evening. That night, Handy picked up his pen.
And paper,
And he copied a part of what they were playing.
Oh yes.
and copied a part of what they were playing.
After Handy left Clarksdale and moved to,
All aboard Memphis.
he finished working on that piece. And after a few years, It was the Mr. Crump Blues, which eventually became
The Memphis Blues.
Folks have just been down to Memphis town. That's where the people smile at you all the while. Hospitality, they were good to me. I never spent a dime, but had the greatest time. I had a dancing with a Tennessee beat. There was a man there named Handy with the band you should hear. And while the folks did this way, oh, that band played real harmony. I never will forget the tune that Handy called the Memphis Blues. Oh,
Handy's Mr. Crump Blues was written as a campaign song for E.H. Crump from Holly Springs. He first ran for mayor of Memphis in 1910.
the year after Handy got to Memphis.
Old Boss Crump won, and he corralled Memphis and Tennessee politics for the next 50 years. But remember, it was the blues that got him in office, thanks to WC. And the blues he caused got him out, thanks to the good Lord. But that's another story.
But WC was now in Memphis, the capital of the Delta, and on Finger Street, the capital of Memphis for its darker citizens.
It was here that Handy wrote some other notable songs, including the St. Louis Blues and the Beale Street Blues.
I've seen the lights of gay Broadway, Old Market Street, down on the Frisco Bay.
All right now, sister.
I've strolled the grotto, I've gambled on the board. The seven wonders of the world I've seen. And many are the places I have been. But take my advice, folks, and go to Beale Street first. It's like browns and beautiful gowns. They have tailor-mades and hand-me-downs. They have honest men and pickpocket skilled, and the business never closes till somebody gets killed. If Beale Street could talk, the very thing would have to get their beds and walk. Except one or two who never string moves, and the lineman on the corner sings the Beale Street Blues. I'd rather be in any place I know. I'd rather be there in any place I know. It's gonna take the sergeant to make me go. Going to the river, hey, oh baby, my. Going to the river, baby, my. 'Cause the river's wet and Beale Street done gone dry.
Beale Street. It was said the Jews owned it, the Irish policed it, and the blacks played on it. But for Fess Handy, it was the place to be.
Memphis loved Handy, and Handy loved Memphis. You see, it was was a nice place to raise his family, a nice place to work, and even start a business, which he did with Harry Pace.
Atlanta University graduate.
Valedictorian of his class.
Student of W.E.B. with boys.
A consummate businessman. The business name,
Pace Handy Music Publishing Company.
Which was quite successful, publishing their music as well as the music of some of the most famous artists of their day.
but nothing lasts forever. So after a while, the two partners agreed to,
An amicable split.
eventually, Handy's company left Memphis and went to New York, where it is still today.
All aboard for St. Louis.
Yeah. St. Louis, a place known by many a bluesman. Now, though Handy never lived in St. Louis, he was there long enough to get the blues. Looking for work as a musician, he slept on cobblestone streets and park benches. And if the police caught you sleeping on the benches, they would run you off. So Handy learned to sleep with his eyes open. Now tell me that ain't the blues. But the greatest inspiration for this song came from a broken-hearted woman he heard singing the blues over her husband who had left her. You hear me? She was singing over her husband who had left her. That's the blues.
I hate to see even sun go down. I hate to see even sun
and was recorded by some of everybody. Bessie Smith, Louis Armstrong, Jelly Roll Morton, folks all over the world. But that success was to come later because Handy was 40 years old at the time and had fallen victim to hard times. He was so broke,
He couldn't even pay attention.
he had no money and didn't know of his songs' growing popularity all around the country. Unfortunately, his swindlers knew and convinced him to sell them the rights for $50.
$50?
$50. And for years, he had to watch as others reaped the profits from his songs. His most famous song,
I got to say Louis I.
Every shut eye ain't sleep, and every goodbye ain't gone. Handy waited out his swindlers, and the very day the copyright was up on his song, he was standing in the copyright office filing for it in his name again.
All right.
You see, every blues song don't end in tears. Now, there's another bluesman that Clarksdale raised that I'd like to introduce you to. His name is Tom. No, not Georgia Tom. Or Thomas Dorsey, as some folks know after he got legend. Now, this young bluesman's name was Thomas Lanier Williams III, or better known as Tennessee Williams.
You're as smooth as Tennessee whiskey. You're as sweet as strawberry wine.
Yeah, that's right. I said bluesman. Now, he's just another blues brother from another mother named Theater, whose sister is music. Now, Mr. Webster say that a bluesman is a person who sings or plays the blues, right? Well, Tennessee sang his blues with a pen, and they were acted out on stages around the world. Now, folks say the St. Louis Blues is the bluesman's Hamlet. Well, I say the Glass Menagerie is an actor St. Louis Blues, if you know what I mean. But to cinch the deal, that old Tennessee is a true bluesman. He even wrote a blues song.
Wrote a blues song?
Wrote a blues song. For his main character, Valentino Xavier, a blues-playing drifter, marked for tragedy. He sings his own death wish in the play, Orpheus.
Descending.
My musical walk in daily grass, all day while the sun's on his glass. My physical walk in daily grass, while the lonesome car rolled past. My feet came down to walk on the earth, and a far ride with she gave her. Now my feet walk far and my feet walk fast, but they still got an itch for the heavenly grass. They still got an itch for the heavenly grass.
The blues. Sadness or melancholy, often due to problems of love or hard times. Words like choking and whining are words folk use to describe the sound instruments make when playing the blues.
These same words describe the songs of Tennessee's characters acted out on the stage. Tunes of
Mental illness,
Sexual repression.
poverty,
Alcohol, drugs,
and
violence. Stay back!
a streetcar named Desire.
Don't you come toward me. Take another step or... What? So awful will happen. It will.
what are you putting on now?
They are now both inside the building.
I warn you. I'm in danger.
He takes another step. step. She smashes a bottle on the table and faces him, touching the broken top.
What do you do that for?
So I could twist the broken end in your face.
I bet you would like that.
I will if you.
So you're going to roughhouse. All right, so roughhouse.
He springs toward her, overturning the table. She cries out and strikes him with the bottle, but he catches her wrist.
Tiger, drop the bottle, drop it. We've had this date with each other from the beginning.
She moans. The bottle top falls. She sinks to her knees. He picks up her inert figure and carries her to the bed.
Mental anguish. One writer said he explored the dark underbelly of human existence.
A real bluesman sings about something he knows or he doesn't sing at all. Mama would say,
Baby, what touches the heart reaches the heart.
so we'll see if his story reached yours.
Tennessee was born March 26, 1911 in Columbus, Mississippi.
And me, Robert Johnson, I was born in May 1911 in Hazelhurst, Mississippi. Now, some say they call him Tennessee because his daddy was from Tennessee. Others, well, they just don't say.
All aboard, Clarksdale, Mississippi, all aboard.
Now, he was partly raised in Clarksdale because that's where his grandfather and grandmother, the Dakins, lived. His mama wanted to be near her folks because Tennessee's daddy, when he'd get to drinking and fighting, he would know when to quit.
What made matters worse was the young Tennessee almost died as a child from diphtheria.
Now, I said almost. No, it didn't kill him, but it left him real poorly as a child, and his daddy rolled him something awful and called him weak. Later on, he even made him break up with a lady friend. That sounds like a pretty good prescription for the blues to me. You know, some people complain because they ain't never had a daddy. And me, I had 3 before I was 8. Every daddy ain't the right daddy. I should know. But old C.C. Cornelius Coffin Williams, Tennessee's dad, well, all 3 of mine combined weren't nearly as rough as him. Fussing and cussing and all that drinking. That fighting, that played a big part in Tennessee being the bluesman that he was. The way I see it, he couldn't help himself. All that heartache was screaming to come out. Screaming! Now, he wasn't the only one to suffer because of it. His sister Rose, well, she went plumb. Let's just say she had some problems that his character sang about in his songs. I mean, acted out in his plays.
Blanche Dubois. Some say patterned after Tennessee's sister Rose.
I can smell the sea air. The rest of my time, I'm going to spend on the sea, and when I die, I'm going to die on the sea. You know what I'm going to die of? I shall die from eating an unwashed liver. I will die with my hand in the hand of some nice-looking ship's doctor, a very young one with a small blonde mustache and a big silver watch.
Poor lady.
They'll say.
The K19 did no good. That unwashed grape has transferred her soul to heaven.
And I will be buried at sea, sewn up in a clean white sack and dropped overboard at noon in the blaze of summer and into the ocean as blue as my first lover's eyes.
pitiful. A pent-up mind and a pent-up nature. Now that's the kind of thing in real life that caused Rose's situation to get worse until her mama let one of them head doctors cut on her brain. After that, poor Rose was never the same. And Tennessee never forgave his mama for allowing it to happen.
All aboard for St. Louis.
Tennessee spent right smart of time in St. Louis. This is where his daddy worked for a while. But because of all that drinking and craziness, the family moved around the city quite a bit. But wherever they moved, the problems were still the same. There was a lot of trouble in the home. Tennessee said it was just a wrong marriage. Wrong.
Wrong.
And you see it in his play, the St. Louis Blues. I mean the
Glass Menagerie.
Tom Wingfield, a main character, they say patterned after Tennessee Williams.
I didn't go to the Muni. I went much further. For time is the longest distance between the two places. Not long after that, I left St. Louis. I descended the steps of the fire escape for the last time. And from then on, I followed in my father's footsteps, attempting to find in motion what was lost in space. I traveled around a great deal. The city swept about me like dead leaves. Leaves that were brightly colored, but torn away from its branches. Laura, I tried so hard to leave you behind me, but I am more faithful than I intended to be. I reach for a cigarette. I cross the street. I run to the movies or to a bar. I buy a drink. I speak to the nearest stranger. Anything that will blow your candle out. For nowadays, the world is lit by lightning. Blow out your candle, Laura.
And so
goodbye.
All aboard for Memphis.
Tennessee spent summers in Memphis staying at the Reverend and Mrs. Dakin's before they settled back in Clarksdale. He enjoyed his time in Memphis and his friends. Once after suffering from a nervous breakdown, he came to Memphis to get himself together. He was even able to go to that Southwestern College library, now Rhodes College. Now that's because Reverend Dakins was a good friend of a professor over there. Oh, Tennessee read to his heart's content and started burying his blues in his plays. Plays that talk about Clarksdale, St. Louis, and Mississippi. And in Memphis, where he produced his very first play, Cairo, Shanghai, Bombay. And he was hooked for good. He said,
Then and there, the theater and I found each other. I know it was the only thing that saved my life.
it saved his life, and it made him a pretty good life. He won all kinds of awards, too many to mention, thanks to the theater, a brother from a different mother.
You're as smooth as Tennessee whiskey. You're as sweet as strawberry wine.
Yes, I was born May 8, 1911,
Robert Johnson.
in Hazelhurst, Mississippi, about 100 miles from Clarksdale. Mama must have had a thing for younger men, because they said she was 10 years older than my daddy, who I hear was Noah Johnson.
Yeah.
Now, you know about much as I do about him since I ain't never seen him.
Oh, Mama worked like a mule on a bunch of Mississippi plantations before settling down in Memphis with Pappy number 2. Robert Dodd. He was a furniture maker with quite a bit of land and money. But he was a dispute with some rich white fellas and was forced to leave by a lynch mob, and he came to Memphis. There goes his business, the money, the land, the family, and his name. He changed it to Charles Spencer because he feared they would track him down.
Well, he got his family back, though. We joined him in Memphis 2 years later. I liked Memphis. I spent the next 9 years growing up in Memphis. Got the proper education there. Much better education than I would have got cotton chopping and picking cotton back in Hazelburg. I attended that Carnes Avenue Colored School.
I never understood why they called them colored schools. What other damn school was I going to teach? I studied arithmetic,
Reading
Language,
Music.
geography,
and physical exercise.
And after a while came Pappy number 3.
Dusty Willis, who couldn't read or write.
Something I could do very well. We settled in Crittenden County, Arkansas for a while before moving back to Mississippi around Robinsonville. It was here I learned to play the Jew's harp, the harmonica, and later the guitar. Now they tell me my playing was like...
Oh, Racket! Please stop it! I can't stand it! Oh!
Terrible! Terrible! Put that guitar down, Robert. Just put it down.
Oh well. But at the not so tender age of 18, I married my
16-year-old
16-year-old sweetheart.
Virginia Travis.
About a year later, she and my baby died in childbirth. I didn't know. When I came off the road to be with them, they were already in the ground.
precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me say, I'm tired, Lord knows I am weak, I am worn through the storm, through the night. Lead me home to the Lord. Take my hand, precious Lord, and lead me home. Lead me home.
Some things a man never shakes. Now that's one of them. Ask Thomas Dorsey. And though I couldn't shake it, Son House, Charlie Patton, and Willie Brown taught me how to say it in my music. That saved my life. But the man who taught me the most was Isaiah Zimmerman.
Now, what kind of name is that for a colored man?
He played the guitar and the harmonica.
And he lived in Beauregard, Mississippi, with his wife Ruth and their children. He taught me good, real good. Not only did I play with him, but I stayed with him and his family.
Hell, folks thought we was kin, including Sugar. That's the kind of man he was. I always felt like he was a preacher playing the blues.
Like he was playing Lamentations straight out the Bible. He poured out his soul in his music, and you could commence to feel the healing and lift his spirits. Yours too, if you play with him.
Sometimes we go back and forth until it was like we was having a conversation with guitars. It was amazing because he didn't want to disturb the family. Sometimes we go to the cemetery and play for hours. I miss those days.
And all that foolishness about the crossroads and the devil and all of that.
Oh, yeah.
Don't tell me.
But if I had made a deal with old Beelzebub, you better believe I'd ask for a lot more than singing and playing the guitar. That's something I could have just got just from practicing. I'd ask old Slewfoot for more money than Rockefeller, for more women than Solomon, and more whiskey than Tennessee.
Right now.
Well, I married again and I lived in Clarksdale with my second wife, Paletta, in 1932 and thereabouts. I was in and out of my truth be told, I had a lot of women, some good, but they couldn't feel that emptiness inside. You see, the only thing that come close was the music. So I continued to travel and play and travel throughout Mississippi, Arkansas, Tennessee, and Chicago and New York.
There was a lot of emptiness. I even took my girlfriend's son with me, Robert Lockwood Jr.
He was like my own son. We went to Clarksdale, Memphis, and
All aboard St. Louis.
now, I had to play a big dance with Henry Jesse James Townsend, or Mule, as we all called him. And he could sing, play the guitar. Oh, Mule, man, we tore up the place. I never will forget. Now, it wasn't in St. Louis long, but it don't take long for a place to rub off on you. Sort of like a good woman
All right then.
or a bad one. Got a kind-hearted woman, do anything in this world for me. I got a kind-hearted woman, do anything in this world for me. But these evil-hearted women, man, they won't let me be. Ooh, yeah, I love my baby, but my baby don't love me. I love my baby, but my baby don't love me. Hey, but I really love that woman. Can't stand to leave her be. Hey, ain't but one thing that makes me wanna drink. I'm worried how you treat me, baby. I begin to think of you, baby. Oh, life won't be the same. No, you break my heart when you call so and so's name. She's a kind-hearted woman. She studies evil all the time. She's a kind-hearted woman. Studies evil all the time.
Say it now. Sing on.
You wills to kill me as to have it on your mind. Oh Lord, have mercy. Some things you sing about would be better left unsung, or it just might come true. I know it did for me at the age of 20. 27. Poisoned by a jealous husband by way of a bottle of whiskey delivered by his wife.
Tennessee whiskey. Oh yeah. You're as sweet as strawberry wine. You're as warm as a glass of brandy. Honey, I'm strong on your love all the time.
You know the story. Well, best you don't. No, at least not like I know the story. I guess I should have listened to old Sonny Boy who saw me fixing to drink and knock the bottle out of my hand.
RJ, you know you don't drink from no bottle if you ain't seen who opened it.
And I said, boy, as long as you live, don't you ever knock a bottle out of my hand again.
Go long, here comes another bottle.
I took a drink, and in 3 days, I had joined the Stiff Toe Gang. I was dead. She's a kind-hearted woman, studies evil all the time. Well,
Yes.
ha, she's a kind-hearted woman, but she studies evil all the time. Woo! You will to kill me as to have it on your mind.
All aboard! Clarksdale, Memphis, St. Louis, all aboard!
So now you know a little something about what it takes to make a blues man.
It ain't about the blues as much as what you do when you get it.
We all get the blues. The trick is not to let it get you.
Sing it.
Write it.